Good morning, it's 9 a.m. in Warsaw and this is World News on TVP World. I'm Marie Cato. Emergency power outages occurred across Ukraine on Saturday morning after a series of Russian attacks. According to Ukraine's state grid operator Ukrenergo, most of the country's regions were affected by strikes on energy infrastructure. Explosions were reportedly heard in the southwestern city of Bursztyn in the Ivano-Frankivsk region, where drones were spotted in the western Lviv region near the town of Khodoriv. Other affected regions include Kyiv, Odessa and Dnipropetrovsk, energy company DTEK has said. Due to the Russian Air Force operations in Ukraine, Polish airports in Rzeszów and Lublin, located in the east of the country, suspended operations earlier today to ensure the free operation of military aviation, as reported by the Polish Air Navigation Services Agency. Both airports are now back in operation. In his nightly address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said that every day counts and urgent decisions, especially in the energy sector, must be acted upon without delay. He said the situation in Kyiv remains difficult, with more than 1,000 buildings still without heating. Zelenskyy added that preparations are underway for further in-person briefings and talks with Ukraine's European partners.
Every day matters. All decisions must be implemented as quickly as possible. The same approach applies to the energy sector. Everyone in Ukraine is ready to help and is truly helping Kyiv. Many communities, so many, as well as state companies that are currently directing their resources to us. The situation in the capital remains strenuous. More than 1,100 buildings are still without heating. The people in these buildings need more assistance. I have scheduled a meeting for tomorrow with our delegation. The team is returning to Ukraine tonight, and tomorrow there will be briefings on sensitive details regarding negotiations in Abu Dhabi, details that cannot be discussed over the phone. We are preparing for more meetings, trilateral ones. Tomorrow we will also speak to our European partners.
I would like to find out what the position of the American authorities is on this matter, Polish Foreign Minister Sikorski said when commenting on the spat between U.S. Ambassador to Poland, Tom Rose, and Speaker of the Polish Parliament's lower house, Włodzimierz Czarzasty. On Thursday, Ambassador Rose took to platform X to announce he would sever ties with Speaker Czarzasty over the Polish official's remarks that he wouldn't back the proposal to award Donald Trump the Nobel Peace Prize, adding that Trump's politics is transactional and force-based. The ambassador branded the comments as, quote, outrageous and unprovoked insults, labeling them also, quote, despicable, disrespectful and insulting in a following tweet. Minister Sikorski, who also serves as Poland's deputy prime minister, initially declined to speak on the issue, but has now said he would like to learn whether this was the official American stance or the ambassador's private opinion, and whether this move was coordinated with the Polish opposition. U.S. President Donald Trump weighs in on Europe's elections, this time endorsing Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orbán in the upcoming parliamentary elections. But with Orbán trailing in the polls, will Trump's backing galvanize voters or simply raise the stakes?
American President Donald Trump has always spoken warmly about Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán. Now he's given his official endorsement. Trump endorsed Orbán in glowing terms, describing him as a friend, a powerful leader, and as someone who has delivered results. Orbán thanked the president, adding that Trump owes it to the Hungarian people to come and visit the country personally.
I don't want to exaggerate, but perhaps he owes it to Hungary to come and meet the Hungarians. Not come here for anything specific, but just come here and meet Hungarians and tell them what America's goals are, that America respects us, respects our goals, and what we can work on together.
It means definitely a lot for Viktor Orbán because this way he feels how important he is on the global scene.
One American official who could travel to Hungary soon is Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He's reportedly scheduled to arrive in Budapest on February 15th. That's the same weekend Orbán is scheduled to deliver a State of the Nation address, just before the official start of the election campaign on February 21st. Opposition leader Peter Magyar is targeting Orbán's Fidesz party in its rural heartland. According to Politico, he's up by 11% in the polls. Could Trump's endorsement change that?
It doesn't really have a strong impact in Orbán's support. Also because Orbán's supporters are not the highest class in society, so I don't think they really follow international news.
Central Europe is a key region for Trump's vision of a world, viewing it as an example for the rest of Europe, as are patriotic parties, according to his national security strategy. His Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem, also visited Poland during the presidential elections last year to endorse now President Karol Nawrocki. On March 26, another CPAC meeting will be held in Budapest, and senior Trump administration officials are expected to attend. For TVP World, Andrew Sweeney.
Turkey is preparing to restrict social media access for minors. With this move, Ankara is joining a growing list of countries seeking to limit children's exposure to social media. A Turkish parliamentary report has called for various control measures such as age verification and content filtering. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's party is expected to present a draft law regarding the issue soon. The report also recommended monitoring kids' video games and toys with integrated AI functions to filter out harmful content. In December, Australia became the first country to ban social media for children younger than 16, inspiring several other countries to draft and implement similar laws to protect their youth. Donald Trump has positively assessed the recent US-Iran nuclear negotiations in Oman, saying the delegations held, quote, very good talks. According to Iranian and US authorities, the talks will continue.
We're going to meet again early next week, and they want to make a deal, Iran, as they should want to make a deal. They know the consequences if they don't make a deal. The consequences are very steep. So we'll see what happens. But they had a very good meeting with a very high representative of Iran. One thing, and right up front, no nuclear weapons.
Donald Trump's attempt to acquire Greenland has triggered a wave of European support for the Arctic island, and instead of opening negotiations, has unified support for the autonomous Danish territory. With new French and Canadian consulates opening in Nuuk on Friday, the message from Greenland is clear: the island is not for sale.
The dust slowly settles in Nuuk after Greenland managed to fight off annexation attempts coming from US President Donald Trump. But as Washington went as far as threatening military force to intimidate Greenland into submission, the last couple of weeks are still vividly remembered in the country.
It was something we all talked about. Some of the children were afraid to take the bus for school because they heard, what if the military comes and they will get lost from their parents?
Trump's bid to acquire this autonomous territory of Denmark,
The nice way or the more difficult way?
Revolved around security and natural resources. And his acquisition plans consolidated European backing for Greenland. French and Canadian consulates that opened today on the island are a telling symbol of this support. And to satisfy Trump's desire to strengthen the region militarily, numerous security initiatives were announced by fellow NATO members. But on the flip side, this latest acquisition attempt seems to be bringing Greenland and Denmark even closer together.
And we have stand together with Denmark in more than 300 years. So that is not something you can just delete.
And the last couple of weeks also helped draw some clear red lines in Nuuk.
The red lines for Greenland is, Greenland is not for sale, and that ends that discussion.
Paweł Trzaskowski for TVP World.
A court in Chisinau has convicted 3 Moldovan citizens of taking part in Russian-led boot camps in Bosnia and Serbia in 2024. Prosecutors say the goal of the exercise was to stir unrest and disrupt elections back home. The court sentenced the 3 defendants to prison terms ranging from 4 to more than 5 years after finding they took part in Russian-linked training camps in Bosnia and Herzegovina and Serbia in 2024. Prosecutors say the camps were designed to prepare participants to incite unrest during Moldova's presidential election and an EU membership referendum. The 2 women and 1 man were tried in absentia and arrest warrants have been issued. Moldovan authorities say the convictions underscore ongoing efforts to counter foreign interference as investigations continue in Bosnia and Serbia into the wider network behind the camps. One of Bosnia and Herzegovina's largest rivers, the Drina, is facing ecological disaster as mountains of waste, chemical runoff and debris choke the river, endangering wildlife, tourism and public health.
This is what Bosnia and Herzegovina's second largest river, Drina, looks like now. It has basically turned into a floating waste dump.
There's virtually everything here. Medical waste, oil, wood, plastic. It's a huge catastrophe.
The Drina is mostly located at the Bosnian-Serbian border, though the obstruction of trash seems to be concentrated near the Bosnian town of Visegrad. They don't seem to see it as a local problem.
This waste comes from illegal dumps located on the riverbanks in neighboring municipalities. Every year, when the water level rises and there's heavy rain and snow, the Drina River rises and picks up all this waste and brings it to us. This is an international, or rather intermunicipal problem. It starts in Montenegro and reaches Bosnia and Herzegovina via Serbia.
This is definitely not a new problem.
Floating waste on the Drina River in Visegrad has unfortunately existed for more than 30 years.
A few years ago, local authorities came together to tackle the issue, but efforts failed to get off the ground.
Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, solving the problem has stagnated. From the onset of the pandemic until today, there have been no meetings and no willingness to solve this problem.
Water contamination doesn't stop the river from playing host to a popular Drina regatta. The reservoir is used by the Christian Orthodox community to perform the traditional swimming celebration of Epiphany. But the Drina River is also home to more than 100 bird species, and for one of them it is the only national nesting ground. That's why last year a project was launched to help birds survive.
The goal of the project as a whole, including this latest training exercise, is to learn how to make birdhouses and bird food.
But according to activists, the situation won't improve until relevant institutions across the country show political intention and will and the motivation to initiate. For TVP World, I'm Piotr Miszczuk.
And that's all for World News right now. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more on TVP World. Goodbye.